Good afternoon to Madam Rashikin. Today, me and my friends going to present about a historical and interesting movie, which is Leftenan Adnan. And this movie is going to present by Nurul Batrisha, myself Unishwari, Sharifa Emilia, and Jayashri. Firstly, we're going to identify the problems that faced by the Leftenan Adnan. And the first point is he was faced a gullible person, which is Ibrahim. In the Leftenan Adnan movie, Ibrahim is a gullible person because he is a person who can easily trust anyone. For an example, he trusts the Major Fujiwara, that a person who tells that Japan will come and help the Tanah Melayu to get the independence. And his action was easy and Japanese way to invade the Tanah Melayu because of Major Fujiwara freely explored Tanah Melayu to find the strategic spot for the Japanese to make his move.
The third problem that was identified in the movie was lack of military armaments. Japan was already on fighting jets on that time while our Malayan armies doesn't have developed weapons. Our military power wasn't that strong compared to Japanese military power on that time. In addition, lack of armies also another problem in this case. The Japanese armies was stripped of Malayan army with lead the Malayan armies defend on the number at the sometime British army also not willing to help Malaya to defend our country. When there is a problem, sure there is a solution available for this problem. The solution for this problem is British should play their role well. British should supply enough armaments for Malayan armies and also should provide developed armaments to Malaysian armies. Malaysian armies also should not believe on British military in this situation and should be more independent and prepare for the war by themselves. This will be the better solution for this problem and Malayan army will win war if they did it so.
Okay, next we go to the leadership strategies that used in executing the missions. As we know, Leftenan Adnan led a 42-strong platoon from the Malay regiment, which is to defend the Singapore from the invading Japanese army. Leftenan Adnan and his troop was held off the Japanese for 2 days with a heavy enemy shelling from artillery and tanks. In that situation, they also was in a chronic shortages of food, medical supplies, and ammunition. Then, one of another strategies is when they was built a wall out of the sandbags to make as the protection to themselves from the enemy attack, which is the Japanese army. This ensured that Adnan and his men made a brave steps due to they accepted the order to retreat the top of hill, which is called a Bukit Chandu.
Okay, another leadership strategy is no retreat, no surrender, which means there is no backing down even if we die in the process. For example, Lieutenant Adnan refused to surrender and ordered his men to fight until just one man remained, using only their bayonets and face. Second one is appearance can be deceiving, just like Japanese soldiers disguised as Singh members of Indian Army. And then when Lieutenant Adnan realized it was a ruse, he faster ordered his men to fire at them and causing them to retreat.
Analytical tools, SWOT analysis, strength. The strength that we caught regarding the mission of Lieutenant Adnan and his troop was when they built a regiment defensive, which is it called a gap as their fortifications. What is surprising is where the Japanese forces was failed to penetrate our Malay regiment line at gap.
Next is weakness. In the movie Leftenan Adnan, we can find the weakness in a particular situation where they were at a chronic shortage of food, medical supplies, and ammunition in the situation where they are held of Japanese army. And when on the last day, few Grenadiers had to fight the Japanese troops to hand-to-hand combat.
For opportunities, due to his brave and noble act at the Battle of Pasir Panjang, Lieutenant Adnan is regarded as a national hero in Singapore and Malaysia.
Lieutenant Adnan brought his family along when he was posted to Singapore in late 1941, living together in a large house of Pasir Panjang reserved for the officer of the Malay regiment. For their safety, Adnan sent his pregnant wife and two sons back to their hometown in Kajang, Selangor, just as war broke out in December 1941. As recalled by his son Mokhtar, Adnan told his son to take care of themselves and behave. As his family members prayed Adnan goodbye, they did not realize this was the last they would see of him.